All right, plant lovers, get ready. Because today we're diving deep into how to ace that botanist interview.
We've got a lot to cover today.
We've got the career guide, the interview guide, and even some insider info on RoleCatcher's AI.
And whether you're already a plant expert,
Or, just starting to sprout your passion for botany, this deep dive is going to help you stand out from the crowd.
let's unpack this, starting with the career guide.
Okay, so one thing that really jumped out at me from the career guide
Yeah.
is that botanists don't just work in gardens and labs.
Right.
They could be out there, like, trekking through the Amazon rainforest.
Exactly. The career guide highlights how diverse the field of botany really is.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
So we're talking about maintaining plant collections, conducting research, maybe even discovering new species.
You got it.
But it's not all sunshine and roses, right?
Well, there are challenges like competition for funding.
Yeah,
And, some of the field work can be pretty demanding.
true. But for the right person, the pros definitely outweigh the cons.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. Research, travel, being outdoors.
Plus, there's a lot of room for growth in this field. You could start as an assistant and work your way up to leading an entire botanical garden.
Exactly. The career guide lays out a clear path for advancement.
Now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. How to actually land one of these awesome jobs.
Right. Let's talk interview prep.
The interview guide has 10 common questions.
It does.
So let's put ourselves in that hot seat and see how we tackle them.
Okay. Sounds good.
First up, can you tell us about your educational background and any relevant certifications or licenses?
All right. That's a classic opener.
Seems pretty straightforward, but what are they really trying to gauge here?
Well, they're looking for that solid foundation, the academic backbone that supports your knowledge.
That makes sense.
So they'll be checking for specific degrees,
Right.
relevant coursework, and any certifications that show you're the real deal.
So like mentioning a botany degree or a specialization in, let's say, plant ecology.
Exactly. Those are great examples.
And I'm guessing they'll want to hear about hands-on experience too, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is where you bring up those research projects, internships, volunteer work, anything that lets you apply what you learned in the classroom.
And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be a game changer.
Oh, for sure.
Imagine this. You're getting ready for your interview, and RoleCatcher scans the job description and suggests additional keywords or certifications to highlight in your answer,
It's all about tailoring your response to that specific role.
like having a secret weapon, right?
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to question 2. What experience do you have working with plant identification and taxonomy?
All right, getting into the specifics now.
This feels like they want to know if you can actually walk the walk.
It is. They're looking for proof that you can accurately identify different plant species
Right.
and understand their classification.
So have you volunteered at a herbarium, conducted plant surveys? Those are the kinds of experiences that will make your answer pop.
Exactly.
But even if someone's experience is more on the hobbyist side, like they have a crazy plant collection at home or they're super involved in community garden projects, those still show passion, right?
Absolutely, they demonstrate dedication and genuine enthusiasm. Don't underestimate the power of those experiences.
Okay, good to know. Let's move on to question 3. This one throws a bit of a curveball. How do you approach designing and conducting experiments in botany?
Getting into the scientific method now.
This sounds like we're stepping into the lab.
We are. They want to see your understanding of scientific principles.
And your ability to apply them to research.
Exactly. They're looking for a structured approach.
So how you formulate hypotheses, choose methods, collect and analyze data, all that good stuff.
Yeah, and drawing those meaningful conclusions from the research.
So think back to those lab reports, those research projects, even if they were small scale.
It's all valuable experience.
Be ready to discuss those experiments and really highlight your role in the whole process.
And show off your understanding of the scientific method.
Don't forget, RoleCatcher can actually offer insights on how to structure your answer.
Yeah, so it hits all those key points.
All right, on to question 4. Can you discuss your experience with plant breeding and genetics?
Okay, now we're getting into some specialized areas.
This is where your knowledge of genetics, inheritance patterns, breeding techniques, it all comes into play.
It does.
Have you worked on breeding programs? Conducted genetic analysis?
Right, think about any experience you have in that area.
Even experimenting with hybridizing plants, like in your own garden, could be valuable.
Oh, definitely. It shows you're curious and willing to explore. Just be sure to connect it back to those core concepts of breeding and genetics.
So I could mention things like cross-pollination or selective breeding.
Exactly. Those are good examples.
Okay, loving these tips. Let's move on to question 5. How do you stay up to date with the latest advancements in botany research?
All right, staying current, that's crucial in any scientific field.
It feels like they're testing our dedication.
They are. They want to see that commitment to lifelong learning.
So should we mention subscriptions to scientific journals, conferences we've attended, even online botanfluvums?
Yes, all of that. Be specific, too. Mention a recent paper that really got you thinking or a new discovery that you found exciting.
It's not just about passively reading, it's about actively seeking out that new information.
Exactly. That's the kind of curiosity that makes you stand out.
And wouldn't this be a good place to mention RoleCatcher again?
It would.
Because RoleCatcher's AI can curate a list of those relevant publications and articles, like a personalized research assistant.
It's like having a shortcut to all that cutting-edge research.
Okay, I'm seeing how powerful this tool is.
It's pretty amazing.
Question 6 is one we probably all dread a little. Can you discuss a time when you had to troubleshoot a problem during a research project?
All right, the dreaded problem-solving question.
Yeah, I can already feel the pressure. But it's not about highlighting our failures.
No, it's about showing how you think on your feet and adapt.
Turning those setbacks into learning experiences.
Exactly. So think of a time when maybe an experiment went sideways, your plans had to change. How did you approach the problem?
What did you learn from it?
It's all about those problem-solving skills.
What kind of example would really wow them, though?
Let's say you were studying plant growth under different light intensities and your growth chamber malfunctions.
Oh, no.
So the light levels get all messed up.
Yeah.
How did you identify that problem, recalibrate the equipment, change the whole experiment?
Those are the details that show you can handle anything.
Exactly.
Okay, those frustrating moments can actually turn into interview gold. And don't forget, RoleCatcher can help you structure your answer here, too.
It can, to make sure you're highlighting those problem-solving skills.
Amazing. Question 7 focuses on precision. How do you ensure accuracy and attention to detail in your work as a botanist?
Attention to detail is crucial in science.
This is all about being meticulous.
It is. Botany requires a high level of accuracy.
Whether you're collecting data, identifying specimens, anything, really.
Right. They want to know you're careful and have systems to avoid mistakes.
So we should mention those meticulous lab protocols, double-checking measurements, all those little things that ensure accuracy.
Exactly. Share those processes and techniques.
Maybe I could talk about using a digital caliper for super precise measurements.
That's a good one.
Or even a color-coded system for organizing my field notes.
Those details show your commitment.
I'm guessing RoleCatcher can lend a hand here as well.
Oh, absolutely. Its AI can analyze your answer, point out any areas that could be stronger, and even suggest examples that would really hit home with the interviewer.
Like a personal editor for my interview responses.
Yeah, exactly.
Question 8. Can you describe your experience with plant ecology and ecosystem management?
All right, broadening the scope a little.
This feels like they want to see the bigger picture, how we understand plants in their environment.
It is. They want to see your knowledge of plant communities, ecological principles, maybe even conservation strategies.
So think about any experience working with plants in their natural habitat, like field surveys, studying interactions between plants and animals, habitat restoration projects.
Those are great examples.
Even something like identifying wildflowers on hikes or volunteering at a nature preserve. Those show ecological awareness, right?
Absolutely. You can connect those observations to broader concepts like the impact of climate change or invasive species.
It's making me realize that even my casual nature walks are valuable experiences.
You're always learning.
And of course, RoleCatcher can help us articulate those experiences effectively.
It can.
Now, question 9. How do you collaborate with interdisciplinary teams on botany research projects?
Teamwork. That's essential.
Right. Botany often involves working with people from other fields like ecology, genetics, even computer science.
Does.
So they want to see if you can communicate your expertise while also understanding other perspectives.
Exactly. And work effectively as part of a team.
So a project where you had to explain complex botanical stuff to a non-botanist.
Yeah.
Or maybe work with someone who had a completely different approach.
Those are great examples.
Like that time I had to explain plant taxonomy to a computer scientist who was making a plant ID app.
That's perfect. It highlights your ability to communicate across disciplines.
And it was a real learning experience.
It's those experiences that demonstrate your adaptability.
RoleCatcher can help here too, right?
Absolutely. It can analyze your answer and make sure you're really conveying the importance of your collaboration skills.
Okay, on to the final hurdle. Question 10 takes us into the world of research funding.
It does.
Can you describe your experience with grant writing and funding acquisition for botany research projects?
Now, this one you're more likely to get if you're going for a senior level position,
Yeah.
where you'd be leading research projects or managing a team.
Right.
They want to see if you understand the whole grant writing process.
And articulate your research goals.
And, of course, if you've been successful in actually getting funding.
So if you've written grant proposals before, this is your time to shine.
It is.
Highlight those projects, the funding agencies you targeted, the outcomes.
And if you got the grant, definitely mention the amount.
But what if you haven't written a full proposal yet?
Yeah.
Can you still talk about, say, contributing to sections of a proposal or researching funding sources?
Absolutely. Any experience that shows you understand how the grant writing process works and the strategic thinking involved is good to highlight.
So even if you're early in your career, you can still demonstrate your understanding of that funding landscape.
Exactly.
And I bet RoleCatcher has something to offer here as well.
Oh, it does.
Its AI can analyze grant databases, pinpoint those opportunities that match your research, and even give you tips on writing those winning proposals.
It's like having a personal grant consultant.
We covered 10 tough questions.
We did?
I feel like I've gone through Botanist boot camp.
I think you have.
But before we wrap up this first part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
I have to ask, what about those curveball questions?
Oh, you mean the ones that really make you think on your feet?
Yeah, and show your passion for botany.
Yeah, those are designed to assess your genuine interest.
And your ability to think critically.
Exactly.
So how do we prepare for the unpredictable?
Well, it's not just about memorizing a bunch of facts.
Right.
It's about having that mindset of curiosity and being ready to engage with the interviewer on a deeper level.
I love that.
They want to see that spark,
Yeah.
that enthusiasm for plants.
Let that inner plant nerd shine through.
Exactly. Imagine they ask you, what's a recent development in botany that really excites you?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is. It lets you talk about current trends and your passion for the future of botany.
If they asked me that, I think I'd talk about CRISPR technology
Yeah.
and its potential to edit plant genomes.
That's a timely topic.
It's mind-blowing, really.
It is.
That we can manipulate the building blocks of life and shape the evolution of plants.
Yeah.
It's incredible and a little bit scary, to be honest.
It is.
But that's what makes it so fascinating to discuss.
Exactly. You're showing your awareness of cutting-edge science and how it connects to real-world challenges.
You know, it's making me realize that interview prep isn't just about reciting facts.
Right.
It's about having a conversation, sharing my passion,
It is.
showing how my interests align with their goals, feeling inspired,
Good.
ready to let my inner botanist bloom.
I love it. Remember, this is more than just an interview.
Yeah,
It's a chance to share your passion with the world.
absolutely.
Now let's take a moment to digest everything we've covered so far. And when we come back, we'll delve even deeper into crafting those compelling answers that will make you stand out.
Can't wait.
Welcome back to our Botany Interview Deep Dive.
You know, thinking about those first two questions, I realize it's all about showcasing your foundation as a botanist.
Yeah, that solid base of knowledge.
But there's so much more to the job than just book smarts.
Right, there is.
How do we convey that practical experience, those hands-on skills?
That's where those behavioral interview questions come in.
Behavioral interview questions, okay.
They're designed to see how you've handled real situations.
I see.
So the interviewer can get a glimpse of your problem-solving abilities, adaptability, work ethic, all that.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me an example.
Let's say they ask, describe a situation where you had to work under pressure to meet a deadline.
Ooh, yeah.
Now, this isn't about just saying, oh, I'm a hard worker.
Right.
You need to give a specific example that shows you can handle stress, prioritize, deliver results.
So instead of just saying, I'm great under pressure, I need a story to back it up.
Exactly.
What kind of story would really resonate for a botany position?
Think about times you had to collect field data in tough weather or process tons of plant samples quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you had to present research at a conference with a tight deadline looming. Okay. Those experiences show you can handle pressure and deliver quality work.
And this is where you can tie in some of those insights from the career guide.
Absolutely. Remember, it mentions that botanists often face those tight deadlines, especially in fieldwork or grant proposals.
Right.
So by sharing a story that aligns with those real-world challenges, you're showing you understand the demands of the job.
Okay, connecting those personal experiences to the reality of the work.
Exactly.
Give me another example of a behavioral question.
Okay, how about, Tell me about a time you had to change your approach to a project because of unforeseen circumstances.
Okay, yeah, I can see that coming up.
It's all about flexibility and thinking on your feet.
That feels especially relevant for botany, right?
It is. Research often means working with living organisms, unpredictable environments.
Yeah.
Nature rarely sticks to our plans.
Right, so being able to adapt is crucial.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So think about times an experiment had surprising results, or a field site became inaccessible.
Oh, or maybe having to identify a plant species you've never seen before.
That's a great one. It all shows you're resourceful and can find creative solutions.
Okay, I'm building up my mental adaptability stories file. What are some key points to hit when answering these types of questions?
First, describe the situation clearly. What was that unexpected challenge?
Okay, set the scene.
Then, lay out the steps you took to adjust. Did you consult with experts, research different methods, modify your equipment?
Right, show how you problem solved.
And finally, highlight the outcome. What did you learn from it all?
Not just overcoming the obstacle, but those takeaways.
Right, those lessons that show you're growing as a scientist.
And could we subtly showcase our knowledge of specific botany techniques or tools here too?
For sure. Let's say you had to ID that unknown plant.
Yeah.
You could mention using field guides, taxonomic keys, even online databases like PlantNet.
Oh, those details add depth to the story.
And highlight your practical knowledge.
This is all coming together. Now, we've talked about RoleCatcher's AI, but how can it help us with these behavioral answers?
Great question. Imagine you're brainstorming stories, and RoleCatcher is right there giving suggestions
Wow.
based on the job description you've uploaded.
Like a personal brainstorming partner for interviews?
It can analyze your stories, point out areas to improve, even suggest different wording.
So that it helps make sure our message is clear and impactful.
Exactly. It can even flag things that might accidentally make you look bad.
Oh, like a virtual editor for our interview responses.
That's a great way to put it.
And it's not just the content. RoleCatcher can analyze your delivery and practice interviews too,
It can.
giving feedback on your tone, pacing, even body language.
It's like having a whole interview coach at your fingertips.
Wow, I'm feeling way more confident about these behavioral questions now.
That's what we want to hear. Remember, these questions are your chance to let your personality shine.
Yeah.
Be authentic, engaging, share those stories that highlight your strengths.
All right, I'm ready for the challenge. But before we move on, I'm curious.
Yeah.
We talked about staying updated in botany, but what if an interviewer asks about something we haven't studied in depth lately?
That's a valid concern. Botany is vast. It's impossible to be an expert on everything.
Right.
Honesty is key.
But how do we show that we're willing to learn without sounding unprepared?
Let's say they ask about a specific technique in plant genetics you're not familiar with.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't panic or try to bluff. Acknowledge your expertise is in a different area.
So admit what you don't know. Then what?
Express your interest in learning more about it.
Ah, I see.
You could say something like, while my focus has been on plant ecology, I'm really interested in the advancements in plant genetics, and I'd love to learn more about this technique.
Shifting the focus from the gap to our enthusiasm for learning.
Exactly. You can even mention specific resources you'd use to catch up.
Like journals, experts you'd reach out to.
Exactly. Turning a potentially awkward moment into a chance to showcase your commitment to lifelong learning.
Okay, so we're not hiding our weaknesses. We're showing our strengths and our desire to grow.
Exactly. And remember, RoleCatcher can help here too. It can identify those potential knowledge gaps
Oh, wow.
and suggest resources to bridge them.
Like a personalized study guide for interviews.
That's a great way to think about it.
Okay, I'm feeling even more confident and prepared. Now let's get back to those interview questions.
You got it. We'll explore more scenarios and get you ready to handle them with confidence and grace.
All right, back for the final stretch of our botany interview deep dive.
We've covered a lot, but there's one more crucial area to explore.
What's that?
Questions about your career aspirations and how they fit with the job.
Okay, aligning our goals with theirs.
You might get asked, why are you interested in this position?
Yeah.
Or how do your career goals align with our mission?
So we need to show we've done our homework on the job and the organization.
Exactly. This is where preparation is key. Research the organization thoroughly.
Okay, looking for those connections between their work and my interests.
Right. Now, what if your experience doesn't perfectly match the job requirements?
That's a good question. Should we try to downplay those gaps?
It's best to be honest. Acknowledge those areas where you might lack experience,
Right.
but frame them as opportunities for growth.
I see, like, I don't have much experience in plant breeding, but I'm eager to learn.
Exactly, showing you're willing to expand your skills.
So we're turning potential weaknesses into a positive.
Right. And RoleCatcher can be a big help here.
Yeah.
It can analyze the job description and your resume
Oh.
to highlight areas where you're a perfect match and where you might need to bridge the gap.
It's like a career counselor helping us find the right fit.
Now let's talk about communicating complex science to a non-scientific audience.
Ooh, that's a skill I'm always working on.
It's important. They might ask, imagine you're explaining your research to community members. How would you make it engaging?
That's a good one. Balancing accuracy with accessibility is tough.
The key is clear language, avoid jargon.
Okay, keep it simple.
Think about analogies, metaphors, visuals.
Right, bring it to life.
And most importantly, the so what factor. Why should they care?
Connecting it to their everyday lives.
Let's say you're studying climate change's impact on plants.
Okay.
Don't get lost in technical details. Focus on the real-world effects.
I see.
How it affects wildflowers, pollinators, the whole ecosystem's health.
Making those abstract concepts tangible.
And remember, tell a story. Don't just present data.
Oh yeah, that's way more engaging.
Share your observations, challenges, discoveries. Let your passion shine through.
It's about being a good communicator, an advocate for the natural world.
Many employers value that, especially now.
Okay, time to brush up on my science communication skills.
You got it. Now, one last thing. Those curveball questions that throw you off guard.
Oh yeah, the unexpected ones.
Stay calm, think clearly, and don't be afraid to ask for clarification.
Take a breath and don't panic.
What if they ask something totally unrelated to botany?
Like what?
What's your favorite book? Or, if you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be?
Oh wow, okay.
Those questions might seem random, but they're often looking for insights into your personality, interests, creativity.
Showing who we are beyond our scientific side.
Be authentic, share your true interests, your unique perspective,
Okay.
and if you can, connect it back to the job or the organization.
Even in those unexpected moments, it's about finding those connections.
Exactly. It's a two-way street, remember? They're learning about you, you're learning about them.
This deep dive has been incredible. I feel so much more prepared to face those botany interviews.
That's what we wanted to hear. Believe in yourself, let your passion shine through,
I will.
and remember, RoleCatcher is there to support you every step of the way.
Feeling inspired and ready to take on the botanical world? Thanks for everything.
It was my pleasure. And to everyone listening, the world needs passionate botanists, so go out there and make your mark.